Joining me on Impact Catalyst is the CEO of the Next Step Center, Carole Alexander. Welcome, Carole. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So let's get to know the Next Step Center. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I certainly can. So the Next Step Center, STEP is an acronym for Services to Those Experiencing Pregnancy or Parenting. And we've been here in South St. Petersburg on the Deuces for 27 years now. We've been serving. And we provide services to women, men, and families that are experiencing unintended pregnancy. We support them throughout the pregnancy and parenting experience and offer a variety of services, medical services, including free pregnancy tests, ultrasound, STD, STI testing, and then program services. So all kinds of education and support groups, support services, a boutique that allows people who are facing these challenging pregnancy situations to be able to get needed supplies such as diapers and wipes and baby clothes and food and formula. And even baby furniture, strollers, cribs, bassinets, whatever they may need that we have available to support them through that challenging pregnancy and parenting.
So you're working with folks before, during the pregnancy and after the pregnancy as well.
Exactly, yes.
So a lot of the people that you work with, then you have a relationship over a couple of years, potentially.
Oh, yes. Many folks will come. They start with us with the free pregnancy test. So they suspect they may be pregnant. They come in and take the test. We operate a medical, we're a medical facility operating under the direction of a licensed medical director. And so they take the test and we then make available to them the services then that can support them. We have a program called GOALS. I love acronyms. GOALS stands for Gaining Opportunities, Achieving Life Success. So, anytime you've got a new baby coming and you weren't planning it, then there's a lot of things that may change. And so now we look at goals and setting new goals and incorporating your old goals into those. And then as families participate in that program, they actually earn points for making accomplishments toward their goals. And that's how they're able to go and shop in the boutique for the items that they have a need for to support them during that pregnancy and parenting. So we do parenting education. We provide support as long as we have something here that will help them, even community referrals. So I have moms who'll call me now that we served 15 years ago, but they know we're a good resource. So they'll call back and say, listen, my kid is getting ready to do this. And do you know any way to help them? So as long as we have something to support the family or the mom or dad, then we're here for them.
So offering generational support. That's amazing after 27 years.
Yes.
So that's a neat program. So as the moms achieve goals, then you say they earn points and they can actually, if I heard you correctly, redeem those to get things they need out of the boutique.
Exactly. And so it also works for families as a budgeting tool. So we say to them, listen, you spend, because they can also earn points by participating in our education programs, but things like keeping prenatal appointments, going to parenting education. If they have goals toward getting a house or a car or whatever the case might be, as they're making those accomplishments, then yes, they earn those points and they can shop as long as we have items there that they need. So for budgeting, use it to stretch your budget. Everybody who comes and uses the goals program, it isn't because they're, if we didn't give them diapers, they wouldn't have them. But hey, maybe we want to plan a family vacation. We haven't had a chance to do that. So take that money that you would have used to buy diapers and wipes, set it aside for you to go. Maybe you want to purchase a new car, whatever the case might be. So we also use it as a budgeting tool to help families to be able to budget and plan and improve their quality of life.
So as as you're working and running the center, what tends to be the biggest hurdles that you always that you see? Is it more financial or more emotional or more relationships with either the family or what tends to be the sort of the hardest hurdles to overcome?
Well, those are all the things that you mentioned. Because our mission is actually to provide physical, emotional, and spiritual support to men, women, and families that are experiencing these unintended pregnancies. So many times financial, that's the thing that comes to mind first. And then as the pregnancy progresses, then we see that there is emotional support that's necessary. And we know with particularly we serve we serve anybody who comes through our doors. There's no cost for any of our services, all free and confidential. And we find though that because of our location, the majority of those that we serve are women and men of color. One of the things that we know is that birth outcomes are impacted for women of color as it relates to psychosocial stress. And so, as psychosocial stress and social support is provided, then women of color have better birth outcomes. And so, that's been one of the things that has we find by being able to provide the social support through support groups, through having someone available to talk with them as it relates to emotional issues or concerns. Also, to be able to make referrals to agencies, community organizations that can help them along that line with professional counseling as well. So it sort of goes through stages. The first thing is, oh, and what am I going to do financially? I didn't plan for this. And then the supports that are necessary for moms and dads. And even if we have to use community organizations to support us in that, we do. We make those referrals and connections.
So when you see that disparity with women of color having that additional psychological stress, knowing that you've been around for so long, where do you see the gaps? I mean, ideally, if everybody knew about your services and everybody understood the importance of it, then that gap would at least in a local area there start to close a little bit. So what's your sort of satisfaction level with getting the word out about your services and getting moms to know that these are issues they're going to have to face and that this help is available?
Well, of course, we have a media, what do you call it, social media presence. But we also partner with organizations like Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital Healthy Start and the Healthy Start Coalition of Pinellas County. We've had opportunities to have grants or other funding that's allowed us to replicate a program that was done in Los Angeles some years ago called Intentional Acts of Kindness Toward Pregnant Women. And we were able to replicate that in this area, asking women of color, what are those things? What are the social supports that will make life easier for you in terms of emotionally during your pregnancy? And our local women came up with a list of about 35 ways that the community, their partners, their families, their medical providers, and then just the community at large can support them in reducing the social stressors that impact pregnancy. So we've had some good results. I think the fact that we do work with those other organizations and partner, and we find that we generally have improved and better birth outcomes overall than Pinellas County because we are implementing those types of programs and support, whether they're emotional and even spiritual supports. And I know a lot of organizations don't look at that whole person, sort of that holistic approach. Studies show the few that are out there for African American community show that there are four areas that improve outcomes if you're serving African American. One is that it needs to have some type of ethnic pride. So that's one component. Another component is that it's social. So it involves groups of people. The other is relational, drawing in family and those who are support people. And then the final one they call religiosity. Because it's an important aspect of the African American experience and community, those four components together tend to improve the outcomes that you're looking for, the results in the programs that you offer. And so we really look at that holistic kind of approach in providing services.
That's fantastic. When you talk about that list of 35 things, any of them that you found noteworthy or surprising or that are the most important that you would want to communicate out to the community as to how to support pregnant women?
There were some that were interesting. One was don't come up and touch my belly. don't just come and put your hands on. That was one that I thought was interesting. The other was not asking about the baby's father. In other words, not questions about, well, are you married, or just questions about the father. They thought that was sometimes could be create a level of stress. One of the things was that their caregivers, when I say caregivers, I mean their medical providers, would believe them and take them at their word when they express something. Many felt like they weren't being heard by their medical providers, and so just that the provider would believe them and what they had to say. So those are some of those on that appeared on the list that I thought were interesting and important aspects of them feeling socially supported. One of the things I liked was if people would have put the mom expected mom parking sign out front in the community. So they'd have, I mean, just even simple things like that. That the way that the community can support the healthy pregnancy.
How have your operations had to pivot or adjust because of our pandemic that we're currently going through?
Oh, have we ever? We really have. So normally, when we're doing the pregnancy tests, the women come in and their partners or whoever their support person is come in, and we go through the whole process. We've had to start doing their intake by phone from the car, and then only the pregnant woman could come in. This was during phase one. Only the pregnant woman could come in and do the test, and then she goes back to her car, and we're doing counseling over the phone. Not the best, but at least we were still able to offer that service. A lot of our education was in person and in groups. Our support groups met in person. We have a Baby Love pregnancy support group that would meet moms and dads, come together in our community room, and we'd have a grand time. Well, we had to pivot that to Zoom, and not quite the same. Although the women and men say that they still enjoy it, but it certainly is a much different environment for support groups. And we've got a couple of other support groups, Women Empowerment and Building, that had to pivot to a Zoom platform. It certainly has impacted us from the standpoint of being able to do our group classes. So workshops that we do on parenting or pregnancy care, we've had to really sort of adjust in those ways. So it's been a challenge. One of the things we've had to do is find an online platform for education. One of the ways that our families could earn points is to come in, watch DVDs on pregnancy, parenting, relationships, any of those areas. Well, they can't come in now for that purpose. So we are actually in the process of going to an online platform where they can do it from home, and our advocates can be at home and do it as well. So that was the other thing. We've had many of our advocates were older or had conditions, and so they are not even able to come in, but more than willing to work from home. So we've had to make those kinds of adjustments. And then, of course, as it relates to our support, we've had to change how we are able to do any of the fundraising and those kinds of things. So we've had to make some adjustments there as well. We used to do a baby bottle campaign where groups would take baby bottles and fill them. Well, we couldn't do that because we can't have all that cash and change and everything passing through. So a lot of things have changed. But fortunately, we're still able to serve and to meet needs.
And when you mentioned fundraising, you're going to be moving your gala online this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Every year, we normally have our major fundraising event is an annual gala. Last year, we held it at the Coliseum, one of our most well-attended events. This year, we're going to have an online event. So it's still going to be October the 17th. We haven't changed dates because we saved the dates out and all that good stuff. But it's still going to be October 17th. And we're really excited about the opportunity because we feel like we're going to be able to have even more people to participate because it'll be an online event. where they will learn about what we're doing. We call it reaching beyond boundaries, because we have really gone beyond boundaries in bringing diverse communities together, churches, community organizations, partnerships, to be able to meet the needs of our participants. So we'll highlight some of those. We'll have some stories about people whose lives have really changed as a result of them participating with Next Step. So it's going to be an exciting event, even though it's going to be now online on October 17th, as opposed to our in-person event that we normally have. But we're excited about it. We're excited about the outcome.
That's great. I'll make sure to add that event to our calendar so everybody can see it. So I guess since you're on the front lines of it all, are we going to see a pandemic baby boom? What do you think?
I believe so.
It's coming, huh?
We're gearing up because I believe that's.
You can only watch so much Netflix, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So we are seeing an increase now in the need for pregnancy testing, which means that there's going to be more babies at the end of this all. I really believe that that's going to be part of the course.
Well, so many years. It's an incredible legacy. Thank you for serving the community for as long as you have. It's very important work, and it's clear that you're bringing a great energy and a great spirit to it. And we'll look forward to following along and supporting you however we can.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.